The Companies Act 2013 was the act which was introduced in the year of 2013. But before that, there was a history of Companies Act also. The earlier to this Companies Act 2013, there was an act called Companies Act. Which one? 1956. Earlier to that, 1911. 1903. No. Tell me, ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್. No. 56 is the first Companies Act with respect to independent India. 47 you got the independence, 56 is the first act. 1908. 1908 is the earlier Companies Act. In between there was some amendment with respect to 1938 that was important part that, but that was not an act with respect to that. For you, you remember just the Companies Act 2013 or earlier Companies Act, that's it. So 1956, 1908, 1938, not everything is not required. 2013 is there, earlier 2013 there were some other acts. So this Companies Act 2013 has issued by Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, where this Companies Act 2013 governs, where this Companies Act 2013 governs mainly all the companies and body corporates. Sir, what is company, what is body corporate? We will define it. So it will govern the company as well as body corporate. Sir, are you trying to tell that it will not govern the individuals? Yes, it will not govern the individuals. The Companies Act 2013 is not applicable for individuals. Sir, are you trying to tell that Companies Act is not applicable for partnership? Yes, it is not applicable. It is applicable. The Companies Act is applicable specifically for companies. And one more type of organization is called as body corporate. What is body corporate? It is similar kind of company, but it is exactly not a company. What is that? We will see it later. Along with that, this Companies Act 2013, this Companies Act 1956 had more than 600 sections, but this 2013 has been categorized into totally 470 sections, which on a broader category, it is divided into 29 chapters. 29 chapters. That 29 chapters only will consist of these sections. So Companies Act 2013 divided into 29 chapters. Again, that chapter is divided into one chapter consists of 10 sections, 15, 20. Combination of those things, we have a total of 470 sections. Along with this chapter as well as sections, there are something called as schedules, where which will prescribe a certain formats as well as some funds with respect to government of India. Sir, what do you mean by format? For example, there is something called as Schedule 3, which will govern the vertical format of balance sheet, P&L. That is as per Schedule 3 only. You will write in accounts, right? Balance sheet as per Schedule 3, as of that date, this date. So that is given in Schedule 3. You compute depreciation, SLM method, WDU method. All those methods are given under Schedule 2. Depreciation is as per Schedule 2. And there is something called as corporate social responsibility. You know that what is corporate social responsibility? Whenever company earns some profit, out of which certain 2% of the 2% of the profit should be spent on the society only, because whenever they are using the whenever they are manufacturing, they are polluting the river, they are polluting the air, the nearby surroundings also polluted, because of which they have to spend 2% of the social well-being. So if they cannot spend that within the given period of time, then they have to transfer that amount to the government of India. But which account? There's an account called as IAPF account. IAPF means Investor Education and Protection Fund, which is maintained by central government. And there is one more thing called as dividend. You know what is dividend? What is dividend? It is the return on the share capital, whatever the amount we invest. If it is by way of debt or loan, we receive the interest. If it is in case of loans, we receive the interest. If it is in case of investment in equity shares as well as preference shares, then the company will give the dividend. The nature is different. Again, if the company cannot pay the dividend to the shareholders, that amount also should be transferred to IEPF account. So everything is given under where it is given under Schedule 7 of the Companies Act. There are certain schedules which are given for respective purposes. Sections are there for prescribed certain elements. Again, it has been broadly categorized into chapters. Is that okay? For because this Companies Act 2013 is so vast, you have only, if you ask me, around 10% of the Companies Act for your syllabus. Around 10% of the totally 470 sections, 7 schedules, only around less than 10% only. I call it as less than 10%. So remaining part, major part, around some 30% is there in intermediate. Up to 148 sections you will learn in intermediate. So remaining part you will learn in finals. It is so vast act, that is why it has been spread out during the whole curriculum. But in foundation as well as intermediate, you will learn it and write it in a descriptive normal paper, and which is a part of main examination. But in case of final examination, it is fully MCQ based, and as well as it is an online paper. This law as well as the costing paper, which was conducted on online paper. Do you remember that I said SPOM, self-paced online module? 4 subjects are there. Before you get the eligibility to write the finals, you have to complete these things. One of the subject is this law. So, stating all these things, we will begin with Companies Act 2013. See, there are, when I say Companies Act 2013, there are so many words which are used here. Something called as AOA, something called as MOA, something called as company, something called as person, incorporation, registered, all those things, they just use the words. But there was one section under this act only, we call it as section number 2. That section number 2 mainly deals and exclusively deals only with the definition sections. Whenever they write something in the act, for the purpose of explaining that, they directly come to the section 2. It is like I said, we have 470 sections, section 1, 2 and 3 to 470. Generally, how do they form the act is, first they write section number 1, that is, it is called as Companies Act 2013, and it is applicable to India. It is applicable for companies, all those things they write, the introductory part. Section 2, they leave it blank. Then they start preparing their act from section 3 to 470. Then once they complete everything, then they'll see that, okay, section 3 consists of something called as alteration. What is alteration? People who are reading the act should get the definition of that. So again, they come back to section number 2 and they define it. Again, they use some word in section number 12. Again, the word is again coming back and defined it in section number 2. Section number 2 is the last section which is prepared by any act. It is actually not section number 2, it is the definition section. Sir, why are you changing that section 2 to definition? Because there are some acts where the definitions are specified under section 3. But 90% of the acts where the definitions are specified under section 2 only. So, section 2 is the last section. Sir, do we need to remember? No, because it is not an MCQ paper. Fully we have to write. Small things, ignorance is okay. But economics, that is not the case. Coming back to the law. The Companies Act 2013. So, the Companies Act 2013 was enacted to consolidate and amend the law relating to the companies. That means earlier there were so many acts, so many rules. 1956 in the 2013 or there are so many amendments, rules, all those things. What did this Companies Act 2013 did is, they combined everything and they brought into one law, that is called as 2013. Amend, consolidate and amend the law. What is amend? There were some earlier provisions, we will change it and make it applicable for the current situation. That is what amendment. So it was preceded by 1956 Act. Before 2013, there was an act called 1956 Act. So applicability of Companies Act, it is important. This can be asked for examination. The provisions of Companies Act shall apply to dash. Dash means shall apply to question mark. Maybe 5 marks, maybe 6 marks question can come. Illivargu bandilla, but possibility is there. Anytime they can come, because ICI is always, you know what is the tagline of ICI? Tagline. ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ಲೈನ್ ಈಗ ಪೆಪ್ಸಿದು ಒಂದು ಟ್ಯಾಗ್ಲೈನ್ ಇರ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ, ಸಾರಿ, ಮೌಂಟೇನ್ ಡ್ಯೂದು, ಡರ್ ಕೆ ಆಗೆ ಜೀತೆ, like that. You know what is the tagline of ICI? Expect the unexpected. You always be ready that something unexpected is coming. No, we made this tagline. The tagline of ICI is Ya Yeshu Supteshu Jagruti. That is with respect to auditing part. Uh, Auditor should be awake when everybody is sleeping. That is what the meaning of that. The word Ya Yeshu Supteshu Jagruti has taken from the Kathopanishad to say that, see, whenever somebody is sleeping, you should be alert to that. Andre, you should be so keen that even a small observations also you should be able to do it. Some people will ignore it, but you should not ignore that. Whenever it comes to the auditing, accounting, financial statement, that part. Yeah, issue Suttesh Jagrati. So what students call it is, because of the question paper pattern, expect the unexpected. Because every attempt is an unexpected attempt. You think this is the question which will not come in the examination, that is the only question which will come in the examination. Actually, 2023 May attempt final, there were so many online faculties who made ABC category. You know what is ABC category? A category are the very important. Those questions will definitely come in the examination. Like we have 29 chapters, right? They divided chapter 1 to 10 is A category. ಇದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ question ಬಂದೇ ಬರ್ತೈತೆ. They said it. Some chapter number 13, 14, 18 are C category. The questions will not come. It is Bakwas chapter. You don't read only. They made almost majority of the faculty made this video stating almost common chapters, and they released it. Students also followed it. 80% of the paper from section C only. Everybody left all those sections, but the ICA has tested it. No, it is not that ICA want to test. ICA want to show that you don't do this selective studies. That will not help in your future practice. You should study. If we are given the syllabus, you have to study that thing. Why are you leaving this thing? Why are you studying this thing? That is what ICS motto. From then on, faculty stopped or reduced by releasing ABC analysis because it is affecting the students. And some students are actually become the intelligent after that. Whatever the C category is there, first they will study that category, that thing. Then come to B category, then come to A category. So in FR, you know, account subject, in finals we call it as FR, financial reporting. There are five chapters. One is with respect to, okay, you remember just five chapters. Out of the five chapters only, around 70 plus marks used to come in the examination. Totally, we had, you know, how many chapters? It is more than 28 chapters in the whole subject. But out of this five chapters only, up to 70 marks used to come in the examination. Again, May 23 is the attempt, where around only 10, 12 marks has 10, not 12, sorry, 22 marks has come in that paper from those five things. So that is why don't do selective study. Yes, I agree. There are so many irrelevant topics that can be left out. Certain cases, but not everything. Sir, ಇದು ನಂಗೆ difficulty ಆಗದೈತೆ, ಇದು difficulty ಆಗದೈತೆ. You can't go by your judgment. So coming back, this Companies Act shall apply to what? It is applicable to, in simple terms, all the companies. Sir, what do you mean by all the companies? Sir, I am a company engaged in the manufacturing of goods. Yes, for me also applicable. Yes, it is also applicable for me. Sir, I am giving services. For example, Byju's, for example, Unacademy. Those are the companies. For them also Companies Act applicable. Yes, it is also applicable. Sir, I am a hospital but registered as a company. For me also Companies Act applicable. Yes, it is applicable. Sir, I am an airline company. For me also Companies Act applicable. Yes, for a company, for example, Kingfisher Airlines, the Companies Act is applicable. Sir, I am a State Bank of India. For me also Companies Act applicable. Yes, for you also Companies Act applicable because you are a company. Sir, I am a LIC, Life Insurance Corporation. Sir, I am a HESCOM, BESCOM. For me also applicable. Yes, for every type of company this is applicable. But there are certain exceptions. That is what we are going to see now. So the provision shall apply. They are using the word shall. What do you mean by the word shall? Something we put for our remote. Shall means what? Shall means mandatory. There are two words. One is May. Second one is June, July. Yeah? Shall. What is May? May means it is discretionary. You may give me 1 lakh rupees of debt. ನೀನು ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ನಂಗೆ ಸಾಲ. That is what we use the word may. May means it is discretionary. It is up to you whether you can do it or you cannot do it also. What is shall? Shall means it is a mandatory provision, compulsorily. You cannot deviate from this. For example, you shall come to class at 10 o'clock in the morning. It is mandatory. Sir, later yes, if we had made a rules that after 10 nobody is allowed into the class, then we will not allow you into the class. Shall means it is mandatory. May means it is discretionary. So it shall apply to compulsorily. It is applicable for companies incorporated under this act. What do you mean by this act? 2013 or under any previous company law. That is before 2013. It is not 1956. 1956, 1908, 19, everything, 1800 also. Whatever the act which is called as Companies Act in India, for all the companies it is applicable. Sir, why can't they make it only for 2013? Because if you remember, Tata is almost 100 years old. By 100 years, we did not get the independence also. That means Tata was governing under 1908 Companies Act. Reliance also that thing. Again, Infosys also 1956 Act. Again, Wipro is there. So many older companies are there. For them also it is applicable. You cannot say that only for companies incorporated after 2013 applicable. Then they will go outside. That is why we said it is applicable for this act or any other previous company law. Sir, we are registered under Income Tax Act. For me also Companies Act applicable? No. For you to be Companies Act applicable, you should be registered under this act. This means this 2013 or previous what act? Company law. Only previous company laws. Not under income tax, not under GST, not under VAT. Only for Companies Act or incorporated. As well as it is applicable for insurance companies also. It is applicable for banking companies also. It is applicable for electricity companies also. It is applicable for the companies which are governed by special act also. And this is a residual category. What do you mean by the word residual? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಪ್ರಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. Tomorrow if government prescribes for you also this is applicable, then it is applicable for them also. It is a residual category. Sir, but what is this? It is given except. It is like insurance company. I'm using the word insurance company. The main business of the insurance is company is what? Take the premium, insure the people or vehicles or something, anything they will insure it. Whenever there is a damage or whenever there is a loss, they will reimburse it. For that, can I call it as a special business or specific business which is they're doing? But when I say companies manufacturing services, that is separate business. Whenever they're into the core business, for them there was one act, we call it as IRDA Act, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority. For the insurance companies, the act IRDA Act is only applicable. IRDA Act, only IRDA Act. But wherever we said uh, company means not company. For example, the word person. In IRDA Act, they said insurance policies will be given for a person. But who is person? It is not defined under Insurance Act. Then, if it is not defined, then we have to find it somewhere. Whenever there is some incompetence of the act, in those cases only this Companies Act is applicable. For IRDA or for insurance company, only IRDA Act is applicable. For banking company, Banking Regulation Act is applicable. But wherever there is some inconsistency within the act, then this Companies Act is applicable. That is what they have given. Except where the provisions of the said act are inconsistent with the provisions of the Insurance Act. That means this Companies Act is applicable for everybody. If the Insurance Act is telling specifically something for insurance company, then insurance company will follow that. If Insurance Act is not telling anything, then they will follow the Companies Act. Wherever there is inconsistent with the Companies Act as well as Insurance Act. First priority is Insurance Act. Again, if it is not telling anything, then the Companies Act. It is applicable for all the companies which are incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. Maybe insurance, maybe banking, maybe electricity, maybe any company which is incorporated under special act. Then comes Very, very important is this thing. Yes, ma'am. Uh, Body corporate we will discuss later. Whenever I discuss this, first I will discuss the company definition. Then only we can discuss the company body corporate. Special act means, for example, there were some company which are established. Sorry, if it is India, there are certain places which is specified as SEZ zone. You know this? What is SEZ? Special economic zone. Because that is underdeveloped. If you incorporate your company or if you do any business, we will give some concessions with respect to your business. For example, if you have incorporated any act, any company in this SEZ zone, for first 15 years, not 15, for first 10 years, you don't need to pay any tax on your profit. But this Companies Act says whenever you earn a profit, you have to pay the tax. But if there is a company which is established under this SEZ Act, for them this applicable. That is what we call it as special act. What is body corporate? We will discuss it later. Sir, Chief Justice Marshal, not important. We will discuss later. First, we have to discuss the act defines the word company. What is company? Define company. If they ask, you have to write this thing only. As per section 2 bracket 20. Sir, why are you using the word 2 bracket 20? Why are you not using a specific word? There are so many things. If you want, you can note it down somewhere. There is act, there is chapter, there is sections. This is what we discussed. Act has been divided into 29 chapters. Again, that is divided into sections, 470 sections. After the sections, there are certain other classification also. The next classification is subsection. What is the subsection? Sir, we want to discuss about something, but it is too lengthy. I want to break it down into something. That means that definition will be broken down into certain elements. That other sub elements are called as subsections. Then comes something called as clause. Sir, I am defining the section in that there are 10 elements. Those 10 elements are called as subsection. Again, one sub element is having another 5-6 sub elements. That sub to sub is called as clauses. Sir, clauses I want to extend that one clause also. It is called as subclause. Subclause. How the act is being divided? After subclause, there will be rules, there will be guidelines, there will be case laws. This is how generally the act is defined. You might not come across all these things because you have only around 10% of the syllabus. When you come to intermediate, you will see what is class, what is subclass, what is rules, guidelines, case laws, everything. But as of now, so this is section 2 bracket 20. If I use the word 2 as letter 2 as section, what should I use after that? Bracket 20 is subsection. I should generally read it as section 2 subsection 20. That is what prescribes as per the discussion which we made here. But there is a difference between subsection and clause. There is a difference between subsection and clause. Sir, what is the difference? For that we have to go to MCA website now. I'll take the 10th chapter, which is applicable for us, audit and auditors, where section 139 to 148 is defined under this thing, section 113, chapter 10. If you look at the first thing, that is section 139, appointment of auditors, that is the main section. Again, there is subsection 1. Again, there is subsection 2. Again, there is AB. Again, there is 1, 2. There are so many things. Again, there is 3. Again, there is 4. That means it is having some subsections. I agree. But if you look at the everything, it is talking about section 139, 1 talking about appointment of an auditor. Individual firm, that's okay. Can I call it as appointment related part? Come to 139.2. That is also relating to appointment only, but they are giving the term. They cannot be appointed for more than one term of 5 years. Something appointment related only they have given 139.2. Under 139.3, they have given the appointment related provisions with respect to rotation part. What is rotation? Once you complete your 5 years of auditing in a company, you should retire from the company. That means for next 5 years you cannot audit the same company because it establishes some sort of close relationship. Then you might compromise your integrity with the close relationship. That is why you cannot do the audit for that. After that, there is something called as 139.5. Under 139.5 also, they have given appointment related provision only. Where is it given? Can somebody put it out? Appointment of again auditor only. 139.5. Come to 139.6. Again, appointment by board of directors other than government company. They have given something here. Come to 139.7. 139.7. Again, it is also related appointment. See, what is this? What I am trying to prove is this section 139 is having multiple subsections, but all the subsections are speaking about only one thing, that is appointment. Appointment for small company, appointment for normal company, government company, public company, private company. That thing they are talking about. That is why I am using the word subsection. Sir, then when do we use the clauses? When do you use the clauses? If you come to section 2, the definition section, this is definition section which is given here. Subsection, sorry, not subsection, part 1 is talking about what? Abridged prospectus. Some content they're talking about. You come to second sub part, that is accounting standard. Third one with respect to again alteration. Fourth one, tribunal. That means if you see here, all the four subparts are speaking about something else only. So whenever I read this, I read it as section 2 clause 20. Sir, why clause? Because under section 2 whatever they are speaking in the subparts, they're totally speaking about totally unrelated matters. One class is talking about abridged prospectus, one class is talking about alteration, one thing is talking about accounting standard. It is totally unrelated matters. Sir, why it is unrelated? As I already said, we framed that 470 sections. Then we came back. Section 3 ಒಳಗಡೆ ಏನು define ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, we will define under section 2. Section 25 define under 2. Again section 50 define under 2. That is why it is consisting of some other different, totally different elements. So in general, for all the sections from 3 to 470, we use section thereafter subsection. Only for section 2, we will never use the subsection element. We always use section and clause. Section 2 clause 10, section 2 clause 20, section 2 clause 30. That is how we use. Not only this act, in every act, because that is not respect to only one element, that is respect to all the 470 elements are given under that section 2. Understood? Sir, is it important for examination? No, not at all important. But you have to know that whenever you are reading the act, you should know, should we call it as section 2 class 20, section 2 subsection 20, section 2 subclass 20? How do we read it? That is what the intention of the law. So coming back, I say again, the company is defined it how? As per section 2 class 20 of Companies Act 2013. It defines the term company. Company means a company incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. That's it. That means, sir, I am a company. Are you incorporated under 2013? Yes, then you are a company. Sir, I am incorporated under 1956. Yes, you are a company. Sir, 1908, you are also a company. In simple terms, if you have registered under any Companies Act in India, then you are a company. Sir, only by looking into this thing, how can we know what is a company? What is this? Mobile phone. How do you decide it is a mobile phone? Or what is this? Laptop. How can you differentiate between mobile and laptop? What is the main differences under laptop and mobile? Cells. Cells means battery. Okay. Size. Okay. features. What features? I can make call from this. I can text here. I can do whatever the activity I can do it in laptop. Along with some other extra features are also there. Video is there, camera is there, everything is there. So by the features we decide how something is looks like. The same way, ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದಾಗ you know that Rajesh, uh, height, mota, black color. Just by saying he has a Rajesh are so many people. How do you define him? Yeah, ಕರ್ರಗದಲ್ಲವ, that ಅವನ ದಪ್ಪದಲ್ಲ ಡುಮ್ಮ, that specs guy, ಅವನಿಗೊಂದು that ಕೂದಲು ಹೋಗ್ಯಾವಲ್ಲ. So it is by of characteristics of something we define something. The same way, just by looking into it, company means a company incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. So how can we define what is a company? They defined it in a simple, very very simple definition. There could be two kinds of definition. One definition is very good, that by looking into the definition only you fall in love with that. Second type of definitions is like, you will never understand what is that they're trying to tell. Company means company incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. What is it? It is like second category of definition. That is why there is a person called as Marshall, Chief Justice Marshall. You know who is Chief Justice? Judge, Supreme Court judge. Supreme Court ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬಹಳ ಜಡ್ಜ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರೊಳಗಡೆ one chief judge is called as Chief Justice. He says a corporation is an artificial being, invisible, intangible, existing in the contemplation of law. Being a mere creation of law, it possesses only those properties which the charter of its creation confers upon it, either expressly or accidental to its very existence. That means he just defined the company by its characteristics. How the company looks like: it is an artificial person, it is an invisible person, intangible person, existing only in the eyes of law. Again, all the properties, again something called as charter. He has just defined company as the characteristics, but examination you don't write this definition. If they ask what is company, as per section 2 class 20, as per 2 bracket 20, company means a company which is incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. But before moving forward, they have given the features of company separately. They have given separate some features. We will discuss it later. I want to highlight some elements here. Sir, what is that element? Here they said company. The first word we have to understand is means. Second word is a. What do you mean by means? Sir, means only. Means does not mean fishes. Means something we have to define. What is means? Defining a company. Okay. Any other explanation? Company means a company. Why they did not use any other word than this means? Is there any technical meaning to this means? ಸರ್ ನೀವು ಹೇಳೋವರೆಗೂ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ತಲೆನೇ ಕಟ್ಸ್ಕೊತಿದ್ದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಎ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಹ್ಞೂ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ. ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪನಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ಡ್. ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್? ನೋ. See, whatever you are giving, it is absolutely right with respect to English language. You are giving grammatical meaning. Means to explain something. But under law, means has a totally different meaning. What is this means? To explain that means, I have to take one more along with that. There are two words. One is means, second one is includes. Means and includes. Generally, we use the word means to explain something which is exhaustive. Exhaustive in nature. Sir, what do you mean by exhaustive in nature? Mobile means mobile. That's it. You cannot say this is also mobile, this is also mobile, this is also no. Exhaustive. It is over. Whatever it is given under this section, company means only that thing. Sir, this also looks like company. No. Sir, I feel. Don't feel. Sir, I think. Don't think. Means exhaustive. ಇದರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಹೆಜ್ಜೆನ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. What is includes? Includes means, sir, it is mobile. Anything which performs the activity of calling is also mobile. That means mobile not defined module. Along with that, we are giving some space. You also have some features of mobile. Come and fit under the definition of mobile. Again, you have some feature. Again, you come and fit under the definition of mobile. That is why this includes definition is an inclusive definition. What is this inclusive? Whatever it is given under the definition, along with that, anything which has a common feature also included in the definition. Means is an exhaustive where you should not use your mind, where you should not use only the remembering part. Means that's it. You don't think, you don't feel, you don't do anything. Whatever is given in the act, you just follow that. Sir, you said company means a company incorporated under this act or under any other previous company law. Sir, I am incorporated under LLP act. Am I also called as company? Because you are telling it as incorporated. I feel this also is an no, don't feel, because they are using the word means. Means ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, incorporated under this act, that is 2013 act, or any other previous company law. They just not use the word law, they use the word company law. That means 1956 or 1908, only that thing. Sir, even LLP also has some features of company. No, let it have, but it is not company. Because why? It is not registered under this act or any other previous company law. Means and includes. Means exhaustive element. Includes means is that inclusive part where it keeps on including the other elements. Again, sir, we understood what is means and includes. Sir, is it important? No, you just remember the word means. Exam ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ, ಅದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. There is a word called a now. ಸರ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ತೊಗೊಳಕತ್ತೀರಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ರಿ. What is a now? A means it is Upendra's movie, right? A single object. Okay. Indefinite. When it is single object, how can be indefinite?
Different means they're not saying company means the company. That is still single company. One company means maybe any company registered as a company. Not for any.
Okay. Any other explanation? Whatever she said, it is exactly right. There are two, mainly two. There are so many other things also, A and the, but I'll take only two, A and the. Whenever I use the word the president, the prime minister, the chief minister, the Ganga river, it is specifically talking about that particular species. But what is A? A means it is applicable in general. You also called as company, you also called as company, you also called as company. Sir, why are they using this? Because there are so many kinds of companies: private company, public company, one person company, section 8 company, government company. That means that this company's act is applicable. Company means what? Means a company. They are not using company means the company. The company means what? The company which is public company, the company which is private company. Allah. It is applicable for private also, public also, government also, section also. For everything it is applicable. Because of which they are using the word a. Company means a company which is incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. Is that okay? Understood? Now, now there are certain features of the company. What is some features of the company? It is first feature is, have you studied this companies act in your PUC? Company is a separate legal entity. What do you mean by separate legal entity? Company is different and shareholders are different. Two specific words. Okay.
in the eyes of the company is different and the owners of the company are that
company and the owner of the company are two separate entities.
See, what is separate legal entity? They are using the word entity first. We should understand what is entity. What is entity?
organized.
It is kind of call it as an organization, something we does business, all those things. Entity. What is legal? As per the law, not as per me and you. It is as per the law. It is separate. That means something is doing business, and not as per you and me, but as per law, it is different compared to the other party. It is not like company is separate entity, members are separate entity. Members are definitely not an entity. They are individuals. How the members can be an entity? So the entity, which entity? This legal entity, which is incorporated under Companies Act 2013, is totally different from the members. Is totally different from the members. That is what separate legal entity. It is separate from the other members. Sir, how it is being dealt? Sir, what is this? Why are they using the word separate? Because company's existence has not come because of the members. The company's existence only come as because of the creation in the eyes of law. Because the law has given the permission to incorporate a company, it is a company. If the law did not permit, even though 100 members are there, we don't call it as a company. Because it is created in the eyes of law, because it is created in the eyes of law, company is a separate legal entity. For what? For Companies Act 2013 compared to the members. Now, there are so many questions which are framed on this 5 marks, 6 marks questions. Now, separate legal entity. We said members are separate, uh, companies separate. Members means shareholders only. Shareholders, whether it is equity shareholders, whether it is preference shareholders, whether it is board of directors, everybody is different. Because of which I am using the word member, not a shareholder. Member means shareholders, debtors, creditors, bankers, board of directors, everybody is different to the members. But company cannot do all the activities by its own. How can a company do? Can build this building is a company, for example. Can this building get up, go to the one more office and sign and come? No, there are some agents which are appointed by the company only to act on behalf of the company. Those agents we call it as management of the company, board of directors, director and Tirla. That is what we call it as agents. We will come to it later. There is something called as perpetual succession. There are some elements with respect to separate legal entity. I link that along with the perpetual succession. We understand it is companies separate from members. Now, what is perpetual succession? What do you mean by the word perpetual? Have you heard about this word anytime? Forever or continue? Okay. Any other synonym? No. You are limiting it again. Then. What is perpetual?
In the company, if the person died or whoever from inside have whoever wrote it, doesn't matter. So company is separate and shareholders are separate. Okay? But company is going still going on with the
Going till
binder of
point up of the company. Okay. Yes. She has given the answer for both the points, but I was asking only for this perpetual. Perpetual. Right answer. I wanted to hear what is perpetual. L career. Perpetual ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Never ending, which does not has a hand. Okay. Absolutely right. We call it as infinite, we call it as no end, we call it as till the wind up, everything is there. But you just think common sensely. Perpetual, okay. When I say the word no end, are you trying to tell that company will never close? Huh? One or the other time the company will close, maybe after 100 years, maybe after 1000 years. There are so many company example. Byju's is already under the verge of shutdown. So many companies which are already closed. Gems and jewelry company, Nirav Modi's company, all those things are already closed. That company, when the company is established, that is also having the perpetual succession. Now the Tata company is there, Reliance is there, Ambani, Adani, everything is there. Uh, when I say it is a company, it is also having a feature of perpetual succession. If I use the word no end, that means company will never close. That is what are you trying to tell? See, whatever I'm discussing, nowhere relevant for examination. But I want you to think from the other angle. ನೀವು ಬರೀ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸರ್ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಬುಕ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೈಪಾಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ವಾಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ತೊಗೊಂಬರೋದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. I want you to think like a lawmaker. That is what the intention of the law. Then what suits this perpetual better?
irrespective of um, any internal clashes or any internal situations which arise in the company continues to exist.
Okay, you are using the word longer period.
Irrespective.
Okay, irrespective is okay. Whatever happens, it will exist for longer period. See, when somebody asks me how much you want to earn, I say I want to earn a lot of money. Then they get confused because for me lot is different compared to the other person. ನನಗೆ 50 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮನಿ ಆಗಿದೆ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ 500 ಕೋಟಿ ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. So because of which you should be always specific. What is specific? Sir, I want to earn 100 crore rupees. If you feel For you, lot of money is 100 crore, then you consider it as 100 CR. Longer, it is not specific. Longer means it may be infinite also. Try to be more specific. So always there is value for specialization as well as specific point. General ನಂಗೆ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತು ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲ. Sir, I know this thing, I know this thing to the core. Then you have the value in the market. I know income tax. I know litigations in income tax. Sir, I know filing of returns under income tax. Then you have very specialized value. Sir, ನಂಗೆ income tax ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತು? ಎಲ್ಲ ಅರ್ಧಂಬರ್ಧ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. So always whenever you in the future also try to be more specific with your work also with respect to your this thing also. So because I'm teaching, can't you think that I can teach accounts, I can teach what is this? Mathematics? Definitely not possible. But if I work more, I can also learn that. Can't I teach microeconomics? Can't I teach the other thing? Why I'm not teaching it? Because I like economics, I like law. In that only I want to specialize. Because of which only they appointed me. If not, no, sir, other 10%, other 10%, please get out on the sir. In future also try to be more specialization. That's okay. That is not relevant. What is perpetual? Perpetual means no end. I was also believing the same thing, but it is not the case. There is an end, but we don't know the end. There is an end. See, we also say we are not perpetual. As of today, we are perpetual. Maybe next 1 year, maybe next 100 years. But we don't know when there is an end. The company also has a life, but we don't know what is that life. So perpetual means on common parlance, it is indefinite. It is no end. But on a deeper meaning, there is an end, but we don't know that end. That is why we cannot put the expiry date to it. If it has an expiry date, then we call it as not a perpetual entity. Because we don't know it, we are calling it as perpetual. Coming back, perpetual succession means I'll take it to the general meaning, which which says the company has no end. Company goes on forever. That is what the perpetual succession. Succession means keeps on continuing. Business will go on, go on. Now there was so many questions on this. Sir, you said company will go forever. Now you know how many members are required for the purpose of creation of a private company? 7 ಆರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ಲು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕತ್ತ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕಲಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. 2 members are required. Now there was one question. All the those 2 members are going in a car. They met with an accident. They died. Then company also died. Hmm? No, it is company, not partnership. Partner ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ, member ಬರ್ತಾನೆ. For partnership there are partners. For company it is members. 2 members are died. That does mean the company also died. Company, the word perpetual succession denotes that members may come and go, members may appoint, members may retire, members may die. It doesn't affect the existence of the company. That is why we are using the word perpetual succession. Members may come and go, but company goes forever. Sir, then who will run the company? Whoever the next successor of the company or next successor of those members, the son, the daughter, the wife, or any legal heirs, they will take over the company and they run the company. That is how the company runs. That is why we call it as perpetual succession and separate legal entity. The existence of the members does not affect the existence of the company. That is what separate legal entity, because it is not affecting to the existence of the company. The company is not affected because of the existence of the members. Company goes on forever. That is why we are using the word perpetual succession. Separate legal entity and perpetual succession, both are related. Understood? Members may come and go, but company goes forever. This is what the line they are using it. We will read it later. Then comes limited liability. What do you mean by the word liability?
Obligation
Obligation. What do you mean by the word limited?
to an extent.
To an extent, okay. Not less. It is specified. Limited means what? How much my payment? It is limited to some extent. Maybe 20 lakh, maybe 30 lakh, something is there. What is unlimited? Whatever I want, I should ask. That is what unlimited. Here also limited liability. What do you understand by the word limited liability? Because you studied in the previous, I am asking. Is I'll ask. Wait. I'll ask. Company has borrowed some money from banker. For example, 10 crore rupees. Now company does not have the profit. Our company's assets, profit, everything combined together only 2 crore rupees. Now, are you trying to say the liability of the company is only 2 crore rupees now? Then how much? 10 crore rupees. Then why? Where there is limited liability? Just because it is a feature of the company, it does not mean it is belonging to the company. It is belonging to the members of the company. What is that? The members liability with respect to the company is limited. That is what they meant to say, not the company's liability to the outsider. Company's liability to the outsider is always unlimited. For example, my father said, you go and buy any mobile with respect up to 20,000 I will give you. Then I went to a mobile shop, then bought one iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is worth 1,50,000. Now, what is my liability? 1,50,000 I should pay. Just because I bought 1,50,000, my father's liability will not become 1,50,000 because he has already given the limit that my liability is only to the extent of 20,000. Remaining thing you are just from somewhere, you borrow from somebody, you do something else. I don't care. The same thing. I am a company. My father is a member. My father is shareholder. The members or shareholders' liability is limited to the company, but the company's liability with respect to the outsider is totally unlimited. Whatever the liability is incurred by the company, that has to be repaid by company only. Just because company does not have the money to repay the debts, it cannot ask the money from the backside members. ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ, ನನ್ನ ಕಡೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ನಾನು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. No, no, no. What is my liability? I am liable only for that amount, not for the extra amount. Is that okay? Limited liability. The members' liability is limited. Sir, how do you say it is limited? How much limited? How much it is limited? For that, we can classify company into three types. Company into three types. One is company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee, then unlimited company. All these companies are again comes under the classification of company. But you listen, if you are a member, if you are a member and your company is limited by shares, what do you mean by limited by shares? Whenever the company has started, it has issued the shares to the members and it has started limited by shares. That means it is trading of shares and being happened. In that case, the liability of members only to the extent of what? Unpaid up value of the shares. For example, every company has some face value. Company has issued some shares of face value 10 rupees, but it has called earlier only 5 rupees. Now I bought 100 shares, which is worth 10 rupees each, but paid rupees 5 each. Now what is my liability for one share? 5 rupees. What is my liability for 100 shares? 500 rupees. That is what limited liability. My liability with respect to the company is limited to 500 rupees. If I have purchased 1000 shares, it is 5000 rupees. That is what the limited liability concept. If the company is limited by the shares, then the liability of members is limited to the extent of unpaid up value of the shares. Unpaid up value. Is that okay? That means company is in the losses. Now company wants to raise money. Now how the company can raise? Company can raise maximum of 5 rupees for every share. It cannot raise more than that. If it wants to raise, it has to issue few more additional shares. That is what the second thing. Now because company limited by shares, my liabilities, I said it is unpaid up value of shares. Now company has issued uh, shares worth 10 rupees each. Whenever I'm making an application, allotment, all those things, I already paid 10 rupees for the company. Now what is my liability? Now company is in the losses. Now it wants to raise the money. Can the company raise money from the members? No. Why? Because whatever my liability is maximum 10 rupees. Already I paid how much? 10 rupees. My liability is zero now. Irrespective of anything, my liability is only to the extent of unpaid up value. Sir, out of 10 rupees, I paid only 1 rupee. 9 rupees my liability. That is what I meant to say. If the company is limited by shares, then the liability of the members are limited to the unpaid up value of the shares. Is that okay? Now comes company limited by guarantee. What is this guarantee? Have you seen any guarantee type of transactions? Whenever you are buying some house or vehicle, if the bank feels you are not worthy of that much loan, then they'll ask for some guarantee. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋರು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ, something like that. What is that?
We fail to repay, they will ask.
If the first party fails to repay, then it is asked by the guaranteed party, the guarantor, we call it as security. Like that, even in this case also, company will not issue the shares generally, but the members has given the guarantee. See, anything may happen for the company, I will give 5 lakh rupees to the company. That is what my liability. Whether I purchased 100 shares, whether I purchased 1 lakh shares, whether I don't have any shares, that doesn't matter. My liability is what? To the extent of the amount which is guaranteed by me to the company. That is what my liability. In case limited by shares, unpaid up value of the shares I am holding. In case of guaranteed company, it is to the extent of amount guaranteed by the member to the company. That is what liability. In,
Company is endorsed for 1 CR, but I have guaranteed for 1 lakh. Then
then I will give only 1 lakh.
whatever the condition is,
See,
that will be
company is different. I said separate legal entity. I am also different. Then why should I bother about the company? Even though I am the 100% shareholder of the company, that doesn't matter. Whatever the guarantee I have given for the company, I only will give that much. ಎಂತ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಕರೋಡುಗಾಕಿ ನಾನು ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ರೊಕ್ಕ ಕೊಡಲಿ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ರೊಕ್ಕ ಕೊಡಕ್ಕ. That is why the concept of separate legal entity has come. Partnership is not that way. Partnership is even the partner's personal assets are also liable for that. ಅದನ್ನು ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಂತಾನೆ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು. That way, then only the this commerce industry sector has grown in India too much. If not, it would have not grown. Whatever the guarantee amount, only I will pay that much. Then comes unlimited company. The name only says unlimited. Whatever the liability of company is there, that is what my liability. The word unlimited. Unlimited means what? ನಿಂದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಎಪೆಟೈಟ್ ಐತಲ್ಲ, ನಿಂದೆಷ್ಟು ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಹಸು ಐತಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ಊಟ ಮಾಡು. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನಿಂದೆಷ್ಟು ಆಸ್ತಿ ಐತಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ನೀನು ಸಾಲ ಕಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ. Company has a loan of 10 crore rupees, I have a property of 20 crore, then my liability is unlimited. What I unlimited? Not to the 20 crore, only to the extent of 10 crore, because I have given the promise to the company that I will pay your full debts. 10 crore rupees I will pay it. I have only 5 crore rupees of asset, but company is having a loan of 10 crore, then only to the extent of 5 crore. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಾನು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾನು? That is what the company. Here again, company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee, and unlimited company. This company limited by shares, sorry, guarantee, can be again divided into two more categories. It is not there for your syllabus, but I am discussing it. Again, this unlimited also can be divided into two. What is these two things? Company having a share capital, company limited by guarantee, with share capital, without share capital. That means company issued the shares also, as well as the members are given the guarantee for the company also. Then my liability is unpaid up value of the shares along with the guaranteed amount. Direct liability per return. If the company does not have the share capital, whatever the amount I guaranteed, only one liability. Again, unlimited company with share capital, without share capital. That thing still remains. Now, there was one true or false question which has asked once in the examination. They said, sir, you said company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee. For example, I will give the numbers also for better understanding. I am holding 1,000 shares. Unpaid up value is 50 rupees. 100 rupees face value aithe 50 rupees some payment money. 50 rupees unpaid up aithe. What is my liability here? 50,000 is my remaining liability. Under guarantee company, I guaranteed 1 lakh. They are two different companies. Now, this is company A. This is company B. Company A is running the business. It felt it wants some 50,000 rupees for the purpose of doing the business. Then they felt, okay, how can I get the money? I can go to the bank, borrow the money. No, I don't want to pay the interest. Then I say the share capital. There is some 50,000 which is receivable from person X. Then now you tell me, can the company A raise the money from person X during the lifetime of the company? During the lifetime means when the company is running, whenever it feels, can it raise the money from the members? That is what we have on first call, second call, third call, fourth call. In the accounts you learned, right? That is what we do. But in case of guarantee company, okay, shares limited by shares only. Now company did not raise any money, but next year company gone for liquidation. Now company has fall short of some money. Can the company raise that amount from the members to pay the outside liability now? Yes or no? You tell your answer. Don't depend on some other answers. No. How many of you say yes? One, two, three, four, five. How many of you say no? No get no right answer. That means company can rise because When I say company, until it is wound up, it is still company only. Now, outside members of the company are having the liability to whom? Company. That means still company has not wound up. Then they can raise the money from the members. How much? Only to the extent of unpaid up value. Sir, what are you trying to tell? I am trying to tell the unpaid up value of the shares or liability of the members with the company can be raised during the lifetime of the company also or during the winding up of the company also. I'm not telling after the winding up. I'm telling during the winding up of the company. In both the situations, I can raise. But with respect to this guarantee and unlimited company, the money, whatever the guaranteed money or unlimited money which is given, can be raised only during the winding up of the company. During the lifetime of the company, cannot be raised. Sir, I guaranteed 5 lakh. I will not give money for 5 lakh for the running your business. I will give you 5 lakh only if you have fall short of the money which you to pay outsiders of the company. Debentures, bankers, ಅಲ್ಲಿ payment ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದಷ್ಟು ನಾನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. That is what guarantee company. Here, this limited by shares can be raised during lifetime and winding up. Again, these two company only during winding up. Whenever the company is going for liquidation, then only they can get the money from the members who are guaranteed as well as unlimited. What is company? The definition section is very important. Section what? 2, then 2 class 20. 2 bracket 20 says company means a company which is incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. They might ask, what are the features of the company? 5 marks. Just because they ask the question on features, you should not start directly with the separate legal entity or perpetual succession. First, you should start with, as per section 220, 2 bracket 20, company means a company which is incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. Full stop. Next, features of the company. Separate legal entity, perpetual succession, limited liability. Then all these things, again, we have to write. Any question on the companies act for 5 marks or more, 5 marks or more, you have to write introduction part. What is introduction? Even the question is not asking that, you have to write that and go forward. 5 marks or more, 5, 6, 7. Then comes last feature is artificial juridical person. Who is a person? Huh? Person means what? General, I am asking, are you a person? Am I a person? Is company also a person? Yes, we are also persons, but the difference between us and companies, we have born naturally from mother's womb, but the company has born in the eyes of law. Law has created the company. Company did not take birth from the mother's womb. That is the only difference. Except the difference, company is same as individuals. They can do all the activities as we are doing it. So, company is artificial juridical person. What is person? Person means a member. What is juridical? As per the law, as per judicial system, it is artificial. Why artificial? Because it is not a natural company, it is not a natural person. It is created in the eyes of law, and it can be wound up only in the eyes of law only. ಲಾನೇ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಲಾನೇ ಅದನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದಾಕಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಐತೆ, ನಾವು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. You can close the company, lock the key and come and sleep in the house, but company is still in the existence. To remove the company from the roots, you have to go to the law, that is government, that is ROC, and make an application. Say from tomorrow I don't want to do the business, it is so much of loss making business, I want to shut down this business. It can be stopped only in the by the law only. That is what the artificial juridical person. There are some other features also, I think, which you have learned in your PUC. I'll discuss that. The one more feature is there is something called as uh, common seal. What is common seal? Okay, see, whenever you take an admission here, in the fee receipt, they'll give that seal, right? Is it a common seal of success edge? Or whenever you go to bank, you deposit some money in the cash counter. They write, they give the seal, and they pay you that thing. Is that a called as common seal? No, common seal of that bank. Are they called as common seal, or common seal is something else?
The existence of
No, okay. We will discuss about that part later. We said common seal. Common seal means what? That is what I am asking. Seal means it is signature of the company, as I said. It is right. Now, when I use the word, whatever which is this stamped on all those papers, is it called as common seal? If you know the answer, say no. Say yes. If not, no. Or you can say, sir, we don't know. Don't know is the best answer a person can. What is common seal? What do you understand by the common seal? What is seal? ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿವಿ ಆಗಲೇ. Common sale is not what everybody is using in their branches. For example, when I say SBI has more than 20,000 branches in India. All the branches has at least 2 to 3 seals. Whenever they give the loan, manager ಕಡೆ ಒಂದು seal ಇರ್ತೈತೆ, cashier ಕಡೆ ಒಂದು ಇರ್ತೈತೆ, accountant ಕಡೆ ಇರ್ತೈತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರ ಕಡೆ seal ಇರ್ತೈತೆ. That is not common seal. That is, we call it as the rubber seal, rubber stamp. What is common seal? Common seal is called as, it is a seal which is engraved. What is engraved? ಅದು ಸ್ಟಾಂಪ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಇದು ಹಾಕೋದಲ್ಲ. ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯು ಸೀನ್ ಇನ್ ಸಮ್ ರೈಡ್ ಮೂವೀಸ್? ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಮೂವಿ ಒಳಗೆ ರೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ರೆಡ್ ಕಲರ್ ಒಂದು ಸುಟ್ಟು ಅದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಗುತ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದನ್ನ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೀಲ್. ಅದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಇಂಕ್ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ದೇರ್, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಎನ್ಗ್ರೇವ್ ಇಟ್. ಅದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ತೆಗೆದು ಈ ಶಿಲೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ರಿಮೂವ್ ಇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಶೋ ದಟ್ ಎನ್ಗ್ರೇವ್ಡ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೀಲ್. If you see, there is no ink in that. It is like the steel element where ಅದರೊಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಟೀಲ್ ಕಿತ್ತಿ ಅದರೊಳಗಡೆ ಹೆಸರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಾವು. ಎನ್ಗ್ರೇವ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ. ವಿ ರೈಟ್ ದ ನೇಮ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಬಾಟಲ್. ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಪೇಂಟ್ ಹಾಕಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಎನ್ಗ್ರೇವ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಕಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇಂಟ್ ತಗೋತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೀಲ್. ಹಿಯರ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಸೀಲ್. ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಹೆಸರು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ. So this is called as common seal. Generally the common seal looks like this. ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಂದು ಹಿಂಗೆ ಇರ್ತೈತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ರೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಕಾಮನ್ ಸೀಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ದೋಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್. Generally every company will have only one common seal. Now it is optional. Company having the common seal is not required. From 2016, common seal is optional for companies, but it is official signature. Sir, if this signature is not there for the company, then how will the company sign? You said common seal is optional. Now, if the company is not putting this seal, then who will sign it? Somebody has to authenticate it. At least 2 directors has to sign this if the company has no common seal. So that is one of the feature of company. Other feature is company can own its properties, bank accounts, or etc. What is this? Can the company have building? Can the company have one car? Yes, anything it can have, because whenever a company, it is an artificial person. As we have PAN number, Aadhaar card, bank account, all those things, even a person can also have that company. Only thing that it cannot have Aadhaar card, because Aadhaar card is for individuals. But the other thing, PAN card, company can have PAN card, company can have some existing number. We have Aadhaar card number, company has something called as SIN number. Corporate identity number. It is a number given by ROC. ನಮ್ಗೆ UIDI ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರಂಗೆ ROC ಒಂದು ನಂಬರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೈತೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ SIN number, corporate identity number. So company can its own bank account, properties, etc. One more feature is, whenever I said I will give 10 lakh rupees, because of which you sold your car to me. Now you already gave the car, but I did not give the money. What is the option we have next? Go and sue in the court. Can company be sued, or company sue some other party? Yes, because it is also a person. It can do whatever it is done. If the company has given some defective goods and it is refused to compensate it, then they can sue the company. Or company supplied the goods to some debtors, but the debtors failed to pay, then also company can sue the other party. That is what the features of the companies. Company can sue. It can do all the activities except the natural persons ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲನೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಬರ್ತ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅದರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. Is that okay? Company is an artificial person. Because it is an artificial person, it will be run, it will be run or it will be managed using the natural persons, for which we call it as board of directors, are the agents of the company. Whatever the company takes the decision, that has to be followed by the board of directors. The decision is taken is again by the board of directors only. All the people combined together will decide what the company has to do, what the company should not do. But it is should be followed by everybody. Is that okay? The company and features of company, very very important. If you look at the Justice Marshall's definition, it is again artificial being same, invisible, intangible. What is invisible, intangible? See, when I say Lions company, or okay, this success heads, consider it is a company. Can you touch company? You can touch a building of the company, but you cannot touch the company because it is existing only in the eyes of law. It is just a goodwill kind of thing. A company is always intangible, company is always invisible. Common sense is also given here. This corporate will theory we will discuss. Before that, you just go through these things, features of the company. Once you go through, if you have any doubts, do ask. You mark it as important features of the company. Very big. 3 4 lines explanation is required. Separate legal entity. Companies separate from members, where members may come and go, but it does not affect the existence of the company. Again, that is for perpetual succession. Members may die, members may come, members may admit, members may retire, but company goes forever. Common seal. Company, it is the official signature of the company, where from 2016 onwards it is made optional. To as a substitute for the common seal, company's two directors has to sign it. Again, artificial juridical person. It is created only in the eyes of law, because of which it can be only wound up during the in the eyes of law. That is what you have to write. Some 2 3 lines. You read, you will understand. Read line by line. Important. If you have any doubt, do ask.
Person is different. That will different.
Where is it?
Third, in that law, a person which is different from the subscriber.
This one.
The second is from there.
A person which is different from its subscribers to the memorandum of association. Its personality is distinct and separate from the personality of those who compose it. That means the person who make the company is different and the company is different. That is what they are trying to tell.
So basically, company subscribe or the member is
People,
subscribing.
members subscribing to the company. How the company can subscribe?
So I am subscribing,
I
then
am creating the company. For the purpose of creation, I have to file some form with the government. For the purpose of but signing only, we call it a subscription to the MOA and AOA. So just because I signed for the purpose of establishing a company does not mean me and the company same. It is totally different. That is what that meant. Mm-hmm.
For the death of the company, can sue
For the debts of the company, only its creditors can sue it and not its members. That means whenever the company has purchased some goods on the credit basis, the persons who has given the goods on credit basis, they are called as creditor. For that money, only those creditors can sue the company, not the shareholders of the company. That is what they're trying to tell. Creditors means the persons who are giving the loan also, they are giving the goods and services on the credit basis also. Only the loan providers can sue the company, but not the shareholders. If the shareholder is only the creditor, for example, I am the shareholder of the company, as well as I am given the goods, certain goods to the company also. Now I can, as a shareholder, I cannot sue the company, but as a creditor I can sue the company, because I am standing in two positions. One is as a shareholder, one is as a creditor. Only a creditor can sue the company, but not the outsider.
Sir, since the company is having is an artificial person, if the company becomes illegal, why will the directors be sent to the jail?
Because company cannot do anything on its own, somebody has to do on behalf of the company. How can company do, how will company come to know that whether it is legal or illegal? Only the persons who done those things only know that whether it is legal or illegal. Just they want to escape it by putting the names on the company, because members is separate from the company. So if they do everything on the company's name, then state that, see, everything is done by company, company is different, I am different, so you don't touch me. No, company can't do anything on its own, you have to do as a director on behalf of the company. So because of your intention, you are making company liable to some third parties. That is why you are sent to the jail.
But the company will still be in existence.
That decided by the court. That was only the next concept, corporate will theory. You had corporate will theory in PUC. You read, you and ask any doubts with respect to that. See, in every point, at least you should be able to write 3 lines if it comes to the examination. 5 marks question manda, some 5 points you have to write, some 2 to 3 lines explanation. With respect, 6 7 points, minimum 7 points. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ. ಕಂಪನಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಓನ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್, ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟೀಸ್, ಕಂಪನಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸ್ಯೂ, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಯೂಡ್, ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಈ ಬುಕ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಡ್. Subscribers means the persons who incorporates the company by taking the shares, by buying the shares, are called as subscribers to the memorandum of association. See, all these things, memorandum of association, subscriber, everything we will see it in the practical part. Infosys company, know what it says. You name any company which is incorporated in this India, we will open that thing and we will see it. But for that, we have to go little far. Then only we can understand what is MOA, what is MOA, everything.
Limited liability by guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose there are 5 members and the company is in loss for 5 lakh rupees. If I have guaranteed for 5 lakh and all other members also have guaranteed for 5 lakh, who will be liable to pay?
Equally.
1 lakh.
That again depends by decided by the agreement. For any loss of the company, I am liable to the extent of 5 lakh. You said again 5 lakh, but that 5 lakh can be called during by the company. If it is 5 lakh, definitely it will be equal only. Consider you are 5, you are 10, you are 15, then it will be 3:2:1, something like that. They'll agree. It is based on the agreement only.
The remaining amount will be carried forward.
Uh-huh. But generally that does not happen, carry forward, because in case of guarantee company, they can call the money only during the winding up of the company. Once it is wound up, how can you call the? If it is limited by shares, then your point remains valid. See, my intention is not to teach you the law. My intention is to teach you how to read the law. Reading is plain English. ಇದ್ರಾಗೇನು ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಓದ್ಬೇಕಂತೇಳಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ವರ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಇಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೈ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲಾ. ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕಲಿ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದು ಅದ್ರ ಸಂಬಂಧ. Because it is a new law, we can see so much of variations, whatever happening in today's terms. If I take Contract Act 1872, there is nothing new. Okay. Artificial person, common seal, please go through them. Read line by line, word by word, at least for this chapter. From next chapter, you will understand that. Whenever you see the word means, oh, means something which is exhaustive, you will automatically strike that to your mind.
Yeah. Limited by guarantee.
So it is not that you should ask only doubts regarding only these points. With respect to company, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Yes.
In limited by guarantee. So, if the company has utilized the money of the shareholders and it is not at the part, it is not in the time of winding up, then how will it raise again?
No, members will never give the money. Company cannot raise the money also, if it is limited by guarantee during the lifetime of the company. When the company is running in the normal course, it cannot ask the money from the members if it is a guarantee company.
How will it raise? Then it
Maybe loans, maybe or it will issue some shares, or it will do something else. But it can raise money from the shareholders only, again by issuing some other shares. But guarantee money can be raised only during the winding up of the company. That means I have borrowed on the name of company and used for my own purpose. We will discuss that. There is one concept called as doctrine of ultravirus. We will see this. It is again a bigger concept. It will take so much of time. Actually, that depends on the purpose as well as usage. ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು ಮಿಥುನ್? ಡೌಟಾ?
break.
ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ, ಇದು ಓದ್ರಿ. ಯು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ರೀಡಿಂಗ್, ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಎ ಬ್ರೇಕ್. ಸಿ ನಾನೇ ಓದ್ಬೋದು, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದಷ್ಟೇ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಲೆ ಏನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಸಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಅಕೌಂಟ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೂ ಲಾನೇ ಕಾರಣ. Because this law has given the permission for the company to maintain the accounts, that is why the company is maintaining the accounts. Permission to maintain the accounts also should be given by the law only. Accounts of the company, that is one more chapter, chapter number 9, section 128 to 138. And whether the maintained accounts are correct or not, to check that Companies Act has given the permission to appoint the auditors of the company. That is chapter 10. Whatever it want to do, it has to be authorized by Companies Act only. Is that okay? Have you completed reading? Shall we take a break now? See, last paragraph of common seal They said common seal is an optional. See, the moment we registered as company, we can make our own common seal in our name. Permission ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ. What is alternative for common seal? They have given. I said only one alternative. It shall be by two directors, or if the company has company secretaries, yes, one director, a director means one director, and the company secretary. The company secretary. What do you mean by the company secretary? Company secretary of that company. The company secretary. And they're using the word and, not or. Here it is or. Either two directors or one director and one company secretary. And it is the word is shall compulsorily. Then contract will not happen. Then that's over. It is officially signed. Either it should be signed by two directors. If two directors are not there, then one director, one company secretary. That is also same. Either by two directors is same equivalent, one director, one company secretary also same equivalent. They will appoint one more director and then they'll sign it. Generally, ದೂರ ಆದ್ರೆ ಬ್ರೇಕಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬ್ರೇಕಪ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Sir, is it like
Come again, once again. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ ಅವ್ನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದ ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಥರ ಜಗಳ ಆಡಿದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿ. If decisions can't be taken, somebody will go to the court. Court will remove all the directors. Then they'll ask you to appoint a few other directors. No, no. There are some rules regarding the directors in chapter number 11. That is what I meant to say. Every company, for example, if it is a private company, they should have at least two directors. For public company, at least three directors should be there. And a company can have maximum of 15 directors. If they want to have more than 15 directors, then they have to take the approval from the shareholders. At least 75% of the shareholders should approve it.
There are five directors. Who among them should sign?
It depends. See, when I say directors, generally directors are of having the same power, but they are generally delegated. You take care of sales, you take care of purchase, you take care of something, they'll delegate it. Marketing, finance, those things. Every director has the same value. ಶೇರ್ ಸಂಬಂಧನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರೊಳಗಡೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದ ಶೇರ್, ದೆನ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಅ ಮೆಂಬರ್. ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಒನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಒನ್ ವೋಟ್, 10 shares 10 votes. Yes, Mani.
Sir, is it like two directors, one director and one company secretary can sign only when two directors are not in
Not required. Even though 10 directors are there in the company, one director, one company secretary can also sign. It is an alternative option given for the. See, when I say directors, they are not like employees. They daily come to the office. No, some directors will be in the foreign trips. Some directors will be in the some plant. Company having the 10 plants, 10 branches. Then one director will be in each branch. Then how can they sign it? That is why they have given the alternative option. Is that okay? We will take a break of 15 minutes. Again, we will meet back at 12 o'clock. For 3-4 classes. Okay, not required for 3-4 classes also. Tomorrow we don't have the class. Tomorrow there will be examination for 100 marks. Timing in the class timings only. I feel it is in the class timings. I don't know. I'll check with the non class badla ನಾನು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಕಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. For all those 100 questions, answers will be circulated in the group. You only has to evaluate your paper, or you can exchange with yourself and get it corrected and tell me the marks. Then okay. Tomorrow we don't have the class. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday again we don't have the class. Saturday. Okay. One more announcement is, as we already announced at the beginning, till the completion of one subject only we have 5 days class. From this week we are 6 days week only. Even the Saturdays are also the classes are running. Actually, there was a miscommunication. Last Saturday also the class should be there as per the schedule, because last Saturday the law has already started. Friday only it has started. So from this week onwards, we are only Sunday is holiday. Right? You will take a break of 15 minutes. Again, Okay, listen. So we were discussing what is company and its features. Company means a company which is incorporated under this act or any other previous company law as per section 2, 2 class 20. And company features are separate legal entity, perpetual succession, limited liability, artificial juridical person, common seal, it can have its property, bank account, and it can sue, it can be sued, etc. Again, now I want to discuss on one of the feature that is separate legal entity. What is separate legal entity? Members are different compared to the company. Now, sir, what do you mean by members are different from the company? Whatever the actions taken or whatever the actions done by the company, for all those actions only company is liable. That is what this means. Whatever the actions of the members in separate capacity, for those all those acts, the members are liable, not the company is liable. That is what separate legal entity. But when I say company, for all the acts of company, company is liable. Company cannot do anything on its own because it is an artificial person. How can artificial person can go from one place to other place, enter into an agreement, deliver the goods, or do something, borrow the money? So then how it will be happening? It will be happening with that. There is a concept called as principal and agent, where the company is acting, through its agents called as board of directors. Any contracts, any agreements with respect to anything on behalf of the company shall be entered only by the respective directors. Collective directors we call it as board of directors. Single person is called as director. 10 ಜನದ directors ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ we call it as board of directors. Now, sir, when company cannot do anything on its own, the agent should ask to do on behalf of the company. Agents, that is board of directors, also has the option to misuse the company also, because anyway the liability is limited of those members, because of which there arised a concept. What concept? Whenever the members or whenever the board of directors try to misuse the company for their personal benefit. For example, company is into the manufacturing of uh, cars. One of the director who is in charge of procurement, we call it as procurement director. Whatever the raw materials required for the purpose of the manufacturing of car, example tire, glass, steel, body, chassis, engine, everything. Engine they will manufacture, everything they will buy. That in charge is given by one director, where the director has spoke to all the companies and said, see, you are selling tires, you are ready to sell tires at 4,000 rupees. No, you sell tires at 5,000 rupees for the company only, but the remaining I'll ask the company to make 5,000 rupees payment, but you give me that 1,000 rupees on a side manner. We call it as side pocketing. That means the director is trying to misuse the company, or sometimes director may try to commit a fraud on name of the company also. What is that? Director may borrow, for example, some 100 crore rupees from a bank by giving the company details. See, this is the because the directors can approve it. These are the details of the company. These are the properties, everything. Please give me the 100 crore rupees loan. Once the loan has come, the money has been transferred to separate some foreign account and he left the country. That means his intention is that the money is borrowed on the name of company. For all those things, company is only liable. I will not be liable. In short, whenever the members or board of directors try to misuse the company because of the concept of separate legal entity. What is separate legal entity? Members are different from the company. There is one veil between the members as well as company. What is that veil? ಈ ಪರದೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇರೋರು ಬೇರೆ, ಈ ಪರದೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಇರೋರೇ ಬೇರೆ. But sometimes whenever there is misuse of the members by the company, in that time the court will lift that veil. Court will lift that veil. Whenever the court lifts that veil, both the company as well as members are treated as one, and for all the acts of the company, the directors as well as members also held liable. In simple terms, we are disregarding, we are removing the concept of separate legal entity in certain cases. That is what I meant to say. What are those certain cases? There are six cases. Six cases. Five is already specified. Sixth one is general. That general power is given for court. Whenever you feel that somebody want to commit some fraud, court can lift that corporate bill. Five cases are already proven cases. Whenever this type of transactions happens, you even don't look at the anything. You just lift the things. You even hold the other party as liable for all the acts of company also. So corporate veil means what? There is a veil. Udiga rakkothara veil that Sana is wearing. So there is a veil between the members as well as company. That is what separate legal entity concept. What is the next concept is lifting of corporate veil. Whenever you lift it, the members as well as company are treated as a single person. Sir, when do we lift? Whenever somebody want to misuse the company, commit the fraud, take some personal advantage, take some undue advantage. Sir, what are the cases which are considered as committing a fraud? There are five cases. First case is, okay, there is a case called as Solomon versus Solomon Limited. This Solomon versus Solomon Limited is an example for separate legal entity concept, not for lifting of corporate veil. What happened is, because it is given in very short, I'll explain it. Earlier, it is a foreign case law only. No case law is of India. 90% of the case law from foreign only. There is a person called as Solomon, where he is into the business of leather, leather shoe, leather belt, leather bag, leather business. It is a case study of UK, London, United Kingdom, case law, where the business was going very well. Later, somebody has advised him, why do you take so much of risk? You just convert your leather business into a company business. That is, you do business, same business, but in the name of company. Because separate legal entity, limited liability, all those things are there. You convert the into company and do it. It was a sole proprietorship earlier. You know what is sole proprietorship? I am doing business on my own. There is no that distinction part. For all those things, I am also liable. Because of which he created a company called as Solomon Company Limited. For that, the leather business which he has has been transferred to the Solomon Company Limited. That means Solomon is different from Solomon Limited. Now they are two different. Now Solomon is selling that business to the company. How much he sold? He sold it for around 38,782 pounds. Case study exam the ಕೇಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, but listen. ಇದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. 38,782. That means all the leather, all the shoes, ಆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಏನಿತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸಾಲಮೋನ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ತೆಗೆದು ಸಾಲಮೋನ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರು. Solomon transferred the business to the Solomon Limited for 38,782. That consideration of 38,782 received in three parts. The three parts are: one part is received in shares. Shares. How many shares? Out of 38,782, he received 20,000 shares of £1 each. Of £1 each. That means out of 38,782, 20,000 is over. Then he has taken some secured debt. That means out of 38,782, 20,000 shares he received by of shares. 10,000 pounds. 10,000 pounds. He made an agreement with the company stating that, okay, I am giving the loan to you. You keep that 10,000 with you only. How is that loan is being given? That loan is given on a secured debt. What is that secured debt? Whenever the company is not able to pay the 10,000 to him, first right on the company assets will be in with him only. Then remaining, that is how much? 8,782 he received by way of cash. That 8,782. But this Solomon Company Limited, the moment we see the word limited, what type of company it is? Public limited company. We have not discussed, we will discuss. If it is private limited company, it will be PVT limited, private limited, ending with private limited. Because it is ending with only limited, we call it as public limited. So it is public limited means how many number of members minimum required? 7. So this Solomon has four daughters, four four daughters, where he has given one share each, one share each. Again, he has one son, where he gave one share, and very most important person, who is that? Again, gave one share, and himself. He left what is the remaining share? 19,994. Because 4 plus 1 plus 1, one son, one wife, only one wife. So totally 6. 6 shares they has distributed out the 20,000, remaining 19,994 he kept it by himself. 90,000. After some time, the company's business was running very good. But as we had Corona, there was one depression in UK at that time, 1930 sometime. There was a great depression because of which the company's business has totally fell down. Now, at the time when that business is about to close, just before that year, they prepared this balance sheet. In that balance sheet, they have a assets. They have a assets. I think it is not given. Okay. Assets is a Kotila. Okay, I'll take something, some number, where 6,050 rupees, 50 pounds of assets was there. This is on the asset side. On the liability side, there are some unsecured creditors of 7,000 was there, and there was some secured creditor. Whatever the loan he has given to the company, that is 10,000. It is also there. Then company did not run for longer period of time. Then they shut it down. Then this 6,050 pounds, he has took that money by himself only, stating that I am an secured creditor. Whatever the asset company has, on which first right is of me only, outsiders does not have any right, he said, and he took the money. Then everybody felt ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ನಿಂದೆ, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ನೀನೆ, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ರನ್ ಮಾಡಕತ್ತಿರೋದು ನೀನೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸಾಲ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ, ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೂ ನೀನು ರೀಸನ್. Even then also you are taking this 6050, you should not take that because you are responsible for company getting into the losses. First you should pay the outsiders, then only if there is anything left, then only you should take it. Then said, see, it is not the case, I am secured one, first I should get the right. Then those people said, creditors, no, you want company, Nindu Ninde company, Ella Ninde Ite, how can you take the money? When somebody fights, they go for where? Court. Then court has given the landmark judgment of, see, Solomon is a person, Solomon Limited is one more person, artificial person. Because of which, whatever the assets the Solomon Limited has is of Solomon Limited only. But when it comes to the payment of debts, payment of liability, the first preference will come for secured debts only. After which only the unsecured comes. After unsecured, the preference share comes. After preference shares, the equity share comes. Because of which, then the court said the 6,050 will be given for this Solomon only. You, the outsiders, will not get anything. Even though company has incurred the losses because of the Solomon, but Solomon is different from company. That is what the landmark judgment. That is why the concept of separate legal entity has focused more on this term. That is what Solomon Limited. Solomon Limited is an example for separate legal entity, corporate wealth area, corporate wealth area. Not lifting. Sometimes company court will lift that. When will it lift? We will see that things. This is given for corporate will. Concept of corporate will. What is concept of corporate will? It is separate legal entity. They said different person altogether, company and person is different. That's okay. Now comes the lifting of corporate will. Very important. 5 out of 8 times this question is asked in the examination. Lifting of corporate will. When will the company lift the court will lift the corporate will? In the following situations. There are some 6-7 concepts which are very important from this chapter, Companies Act. One of the important concept is this one, lifting of corporate will. The question is very simple, one line question. Explain the circumstances when the corporate will be lifted. Question mark. 1 mark, one line. Answer will be for 7 marks. We should write for 7 marks. Sir, how do we write the answer? First, we should write what is corporate will. That is separate legal entity explain ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. In the Salomon versus Salomon Limited case, where members are treated, Salomon is treated differently compared to the Salomon Limited. Then full stop. After some 2 3 lines, come to the next paragraph stating that whenever the company, sorry, members try to misuse the company because the separate legal entity concept, court will lift that and treat members and company as same. Some 2 3 lines. Then in the following situations, the corporate will be lifted. Then you have to write the answer. You cannot directly write that answer. Whenever I say something multiple times, you should note it down. How do we write the answer? First, separate legal entity meaning, then lifting of corporate will, introduction, then cases when the corporate will be lifted. What is lifting of corporate will? It is disregarding the corporate entity and paying the regard instead to the realities behind the legal facade. You just don't look at the face which is visible as a company. Who is behind the company? You just go beyond that. Company has to go beyond the company. That is what the members. It is the concept, the lifting of corporate is a concept where the courts ignore the company and concern themselves directly with the members or managers. ಅಂದರೆ ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕನ್ಸರ್ನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. The corporate veil may be said to have been lifted. Only in the appropriate circumstances, the courts are willing to lift the corporate veil, and that too when questions of control are involved rather than merely question of ownership. It is not about who is owning the company, who is the shareholder. It is about the who is controlling the company. Again, they have some cases. The following are the cases. What are the cases? We will see it here. First, we will read the 5 things. Then we will come and explain all these things. First one is to determine the character of the company. That is the first thing. That is the first case. You give the numbers to it to determine the character of the company. ಇಲ್ಲ. You can write anyway. To protect the tax or revenue. Second one. Third one, to avoid the legal obligation. Formation of subsidiary to act as agents. Company formed for fraud or improper conduct to defeat the law. These are the 5 cases where the court will lift the corporate veil. So first one is what? You read the 5 things. You have to remember that 5 things. There is no other way. What are the 5 cases when the corporate will be lifted? To determine the character of the company, to protect the tax or revenue, to avoid the legal obligation, formation of subsidiary to act as agents, then company formed it for, for to defeat the law. You close the books, try to recollect it. Once you know all those 5 things, then we will explain it. Uh, in every case, court can lift the corporate bill. ಐದು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕೇಸ್. ಒಂದು ಕೇಸ್ ಇದ್ರೂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೈತೆ. ಈ 5 ಕೇಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಲಿಫ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕತ್ತ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಕೊಲೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರಿಲ್ಲ, ಕಳ್ತನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದೊಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. 5 ದಿವಸ ಆಗ್ಲಿ 50 ವರ್ಷ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ನಂಗೆ ಕೇಳಕತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರ. ಯಾರಿಗಾದ್ರೂ ಆಕ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ, ವುಮೆನ್ ಹರಾಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಡೌರಿ ಕೇಸ್, ಸೊ ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ 5 ಇರ್ಬೇಕಂತಾನೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕೇಸ್ನಾಗೂ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೋದು. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್. ಐದು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವಾಗೂ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರ. Don't read the content, read the headings. Nivedita, you are not well? No, your face looks so dull. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆನೆ ರೈಸ್ ತಿಂದು ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್, ಏನು ಮಾಡಲಿ? Try to write down. Once you read it, close the book and try to write down all the 5 points. Along with these 5 points, if the court feel in some other case also somebody is misusing the company, then also they can lift it. That is general category, sixth category. That is not given here. But under these 5 cases, definitely court will lift the corporate bill. Well, ಅದು ಹೆಂಗಂತ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? Wherever the court feels it is necessary, then court can lift. ಅದು ಬರೀ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. Only 5 cases. Examiner. 5 cases also can fetch you 7 marks. Only 5 points. Anybody who can tell me without looking at the material? Raise your hands. If you know, raise your hands. I'll ask. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಂಚ್ ಹಾಕೋ ಯಾರು ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ? ಶೂ ಅವ್ರ ಉಳಿದವ್ರು ಯಾಕೆ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ? ಅವ್ರ ಹುಡುಗ ಯಾಕ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆರಾಮೈತಿಲ್ಲ? Subsidiary, that is one type of company we will discuss in classification. Holding and subsidiary. ಆ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡ್ರಿ. You remember that word. What is that word? We will discuss it later. Anybody? Wait. To determine the character of the company. ಮುಂದೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟಾದ್ರೂ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. Whether it is an enemy company or friendly company. Okay. To defraud the law or fraudulent act. Okay. Any other person? Niharika. Lifting of corporate wealth cases. So, cases when the corporate wealth will be lifted. Louder. What? ಮುಂದೆ formation of subsidiary. ನಂಗೆ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಂಗೆ ಹಂಗಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗಲ್ ಅಂತ ಐತಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ? ಓಕೆ. ಎನಿಬಡಿ ಎಲ್ಸ್? ಬಾಯ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಹುಡುಗರು ಮರ್ಯಾದೆ ಹುಡುಗರು ಯಾರಾದರೂ?
Becoming the character of the company, that is to find no enemy or friend, to protect from revenue and taxes.
To protect from ಅಲ್ಲ, to protect revenue or tax.
To protect revenue or tax. To avoid legal obligation.
ತಡಿ ಹೇಳಿ.
Formation of subsidiaries to act as agents. Company formed for fraud or to defeat the law.
Okay, ಅದು ಆರ್ category ಐತೆ. That's it. Anybody from boy side? Amish.
To determine the character of the company, that is, it's whether going your friend to protect their revenue or tax, to avoid legal obligations, formation of subsidiaries to act as agents for formation for fraud or to defeat law.
Formation of company for defeating the law or
determine the character of the company, that is whether to find if it is co-enemy or friend, to protect tax or revenue, to avoid legal obligation, to formation of subsidiaries to act as agents, and company formed for fraud or improper conduct, how to retreat.
Last one person, anybody? You can raise your hands. Mithun, Madan.
To determine the characteristic of the company, that is co-enemy or friend, to protect every tax or revenue,
To avoid illegal obligation.
to avoid illegal obligations, formation of subsidies to act as agent, company formed for fraud or defeat.
Okay. Remaining people also do remember those things. You can make some shortcut. Generally, I don't suggest because that is very simple. Because after I explain the cases, see all these things are decided by one case. La ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನಾಗ ಆಗಿರೋ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬಂದೈತೆ. First one is what? Corporate will lift first ಯಾವುದು? To find the character of the company. Friendly or enemy company. So what is friendly or enemy company? There was a case law. The case law is between, if possible, try to remember. If not, no need to remember. You remember those 5 cases. Other ಎಲ್ಲ case law remember ಮಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. There was a case between Continental tires, Continental tires versus what is that rubber? Hmm? Huh? Then versus ah, Daimler, Daimler. Daimler company versus Continental Tires and Rubbers Limited, where see that Daimler Limited as well as Continental Tires, both are companies. Listen to the case. This Continental Tires and Rubbers are supplying this raw rubber. What is raw rubber? ಅದು ಕರಿ ಕಲರ್ ಬರ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ ಟೈರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಟೈರ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ರಬ್ಬರ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಆ ಟೈರ್ ರಬ್ಬರ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ರಾ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ಸ್. This Daimler Company Limited was manufacturing the tires. So it was a case of I think Germany and one more country where both the companies are established in Germany only. But there was one more country, I don't know, we will take it as USSR, where there was a war going on between Germany and USSR. There was a war going on between Germany and USSR. And when the Continental Tires supplied that rubbers, they asked for the payment. They supplied on some 1 or 2 months credit. One thing like the payment ಮಾಡೋದು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು. Then this Daimler company said, no, I can't make you the payment. Why? I supplied this thing. I have given the invoice. One thing ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಟೈಮ್ ಮುಗಿದೈತೆ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. Then Daimler said, see, you are not a friendly company or an enemy company for me now. I can't make the payment. Sir, what is friendly and enemy company? They said, there was a definition for this friendly and enemy company in Constitution of India, where they said, whenever the war going on between 2 countries, one country's company is enemy for my country company. Those 2 countries are fully considered as enemy only. But you can ask, sir, both the companies are in Germany only. How can they become the enemy company? Because this Continental Tires and Rubbers Limited, even though it is in Germany, it is fully controlled from a company which is there in USSR. Because of that, we just did not look it as separate legal entity. This company is separate, this company is separate, and ನೋಡಕತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. We lifted that corporate wheel, then we saw that is a company which is there in Germany as well as USSR are the same company. Yes, full control authority is of in the USSR company only. Sir, okay, what does it matter? You bought the raw materials, you have to make the payment. Payment ಮಾಡೋದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು? Enemy company ಅಂದ್ರೆ enemy company ಅಂದ್ರೆ there was a reverse understanding by the constitution personalities. They said, whenever I make the payment to Continental Tires and Rubbers, it is as good as I'm making payment for some A Limited in USSR, because it is fully controlled by USSR people. The profit will again go back to USSR. It is like whenever the war is going on between, I am making a payment to bomb on myself only. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ವಾಪಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೈತೆ. ಆರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಮ್ಯುನಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಬಾಟ್, ಬಾಂಬ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿ ಬಾಟ್. ಅಗೇನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಬಾಂಬ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ammunitions are used for what? Fighting with me only. Because of that, we use the word concept called as enemy company. You are an enemy. I don't want to have any transactions with you now. Sir, then what? ಹಂಗಾರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ? No, we will make the payment after the end of the war. War ಯಾವಾಗ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಲ್ಲ, then we become again friendly company. Again we will make the payment. To decide whether this Continental Tires as well as A Limited as a single company or separate company, court has lifted that corporate veil to determine the character of the company. Whether this Continentals, just because it is there in Germany, whether it is a friendly or enemy company. Which is enemy company? Which is totally controlled by USSR people, because USSR and Germany, there is a war going on between. To determine that character, we lifted the corporate veil. First characteristics, first case when the corporate veil will be lifted. One is to determine the characteristics of the company, whether the company is a friendly company or enemy company. Where it is decided? It is decided in the case law of Daimler versus Continental Tires and Rubbers Limited. You can remember, you cannot remember also, that is okay. Remembering of case law is nowhere mandatory. Remembering of section number, quoting of section number is also not mandatory. You can directly write as per Companies Act 2013. That is acceptable. But if you want to make good impression, try to remember certain sections. I am not asking you to remember every section. Whichever I say important, you just remember that. 220 is important, 2 bracket 20. First one, understood the case? Daimler versus Continental Tires Rubbers Limited. To determine that, we lift the corporate veil. Second one is what? To protect the revenue or tax. See, tax is expense for us, it is revenue for government. ಎರಡು same other. To protect the tax only, it has been given. Sir, what is this to protect the tax or revenue? As per separate legal entity, I am separate from the company. Company separate, me is separate. What happened is, it is decided in the case law of Dinsha Banerjee Petit and Jugilal versus Commissioner of Income Tax, right? Dinsha Banerjee Petit, it is, and Jugilal ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಐತೆ. ಇಬ್ಬರು ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇದೆ ಡಿಸೈಡ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ Dinsha Banerjee Petit versus CIT. What happened is, I'll take this CIT later. Dinsha Banerjee Petit Jugilal next paragraph ಒಳಗಡೆ Dinsha Banerjee Petit ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ. ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಕೇಸ್, ಎರಡು ಸೇಮ್ ಕೇಸ್. That anything which comes under protect of tax or revenue, same case only. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಐತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಅದು. Dinsha Banerjee Petit and Jugilal, I can take both the things. Where, see, it get confused if I take two things. Dinsha Banerjee Petit same consider ಮಾಡೋ, same case only. Where this Dinsha Banerjee Petit, what happened in this case is having some investments. He has given some loans to some companies. He has invested in the shares of some companies. For example, A Limited, B Limited, and C Limited. Where at the end of the year, he has to receive some interest from the company in which he has invested the loan or debentures. Again, dividend from the company in which he has invested the shares. Everything combined together, share, dividend, interest, everything. He is receiving some X amount. Consider, I am call it as 10 crore rupees. Example. Whenever somebody receives the income under Income Tax Act, there is one provision, they should pay the tax on the income. How much? There is a slab rate, but I'll take only the flat rate for easy understanding. Consider 30% is the tax rate. When I say 30% is the tax rate, 10 crore rupees is the income for Dinsha Banerjee Petit. He has to pay tax of 3 crore rupees. To avoid the tax or to protect the tax, what he did is, if the income received by DMP, then only has to pay the tax. What he did is, he formed some 3-4 companies. For example, M Limited or M Private Limited, MNOP. Na company form ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಇವ ಸ್ವಂತ private companies. These are private companies. Where what it is, whatever the amount which is to receive, for example, 3 crore rupees, 5 crore rupees, 2 crore rupees, totally 10 crore. He said, DMP said to A, B, C Limited, you don't pay me, you directly pay the money to M Limited or N Limited or O Limited or P Limited. Part amount ಅಲ್ಲಿ transfer ಮಾಡಕತ್ತ. When the money again directly transferred to MNOP, now DMP is not receiving any income. That means DMP has zero income. When DMP has zero income, tax is also zero now. He is trying to avoid the tax. Then Commissioner of Income Tax said, see, you formed this MNOP Limited for the purpose of avoiding the tax because this MNOP is not doing any transaction, because of which you should pay the tax. You are trying to evade the tax by forming one more subsidy. Then it is went to the court. No, they are. He said, see, MNOP are the companies. Company is different. I am different. Even though I am the owner of the company, they are different. It should be taxed in the hands of company. Sir, okay, ಇದು ಕಂಪನಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ನಿಗೇನು ಲಾಭ ಆಯ್ತು? Then he has to do some reverse transaction of stating that I gave some already past loans to M Limited, so they are repaying back me 3 crore rupees. It is like repayment of loan. Repayment of loan is not an income. ನಾನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದ ದುಡ್ಡು ವಾಪಸ್ ಬರಕತ್ತೈತೆ ನಂಗೆ. Again N also same, again D O also same, P also same. Again he is receiving 10 crore rupees, but in an indirect manner ಬರಕತ್ತೈತೆ. Because he is collecting the 10 crore rupees as a recovery of loan. He is avoiding the taxes, payment of taxes, because of which government is losing 3 crore rupees of taxes, revenue is losing. Then it went to the court. Then court said, you formed MNOP. Yes, I agree. Company is separate from members. But tell me, why did this company formed? Is this company selling any goods, buying any goods? Is it doing any transactions? Then he said no. That means I assume these following four companies are formed only for the purpose of avoid the taxation. Because of which I remove this corporate bill between Dinshamaniji Petit and MNOP, and I treat MNOP and Dinshamaniji Petit as single person, and I will tax the 10 crore rupees in the hands of Dinshamaniji Petit for the purpose of protection of the revenue or tax. The court will lifted the corporate bill and they collected the tax from DMP. That is what the second case happened. Understood? Dinshamaniji Petit. He is trying to avoid the taxation by way of transferring the money to the company. Is that okay? Second case, what is that? To protect the tax or revenue. Third one is to avoid legal obligation. What is legal obligation? For example, company said, if you work for 1 month, I will give you 30,000 rupees salary. It is a legal obligation. One thing will ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ as per law he has to give 30,000 rupees salary. Now there was a case law between it is bill versus bill. Bhavanagar Industries versus Industries Limited versus Bhavanagar Industries. New Bhavanagar something is there. Just remember bill versus bill. Where what happened is this bill company, Bhavanagar Industries Limited, it has anyway giving the salary, but again it has promised. See, our companies are making a profit of some 10 crore rupees. If our company's profit exceeds 10 crore rupees, for example, we made 11 crore rupees profit. That means 1 crore rupees profit extra is there. In that 1 crore rupees, I will give 30%. That is 30 lakh rupees as bonus to you people. To employees, they have promised company. Now employees are so much motivated because any profit extra earned by the company is also being distributed to them. So they worked day and night, and the company profit has increased. For example, 10 crore rupees instead of 10, they become 15 crore rupees now. 5 crore rupees extra ಐತಿ. ಆ 5 crore rupees ಒಳಗಡೆ 30%, that is 1.5 crore rupees has to be given by way of bonus to all the employees. Now company felt ನನ್ನ company profit ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ? That means it want to avoid some legal obligation. The legal obligation, whenever it is declared, it is already a legal obligation. It has to pay to the employees. To avoid that legal obligation, this bill company has incorporated, as registered one more bill company, Bhavanagar Industries, New Bhavanagar Industries Limited, and whatever the profit it has made, it has transferred all the profit to Bill Limited. Then said to the employees, Employees got the salary but did not get the bonus. Then ask the employees, sir, where is my bonus? See, we made the profit, but all the profits are again reinvested in the other bill limited, because of which I did not have any profit, so there is no bonus. Then all the employees went to the court. Then court lifted the corporate bill. This company is different, this company is different. What they argued in the court. Then court lifted this corporate bill between bill and bill. Then they decided, why did this bill limited established? Only for the purpose of avoiding that legal obligation to avoid that bonus payment. Then this bill versus bill is treated as one company, and this bill limited is obligated to pay bonus to the company's employees. That is what third case. Whenever somebody is trying to avoid the legal obligation, then court will lift the corporate bill and treat both as single and taxable or a payment of bonus in their hands. That is what happened in third case. To avoid legal obligation. Understood? To determine the character of the company, whether it is enemy company or friendly company. Second one is to protect the revenue or tax. Third one is to avoid the legal obligation. First one is the Daimler Company Limited versus Continental Tires and Tube Tires and Rubbers. Dinsham Energy Patent and Commission of Income Tax. Third one, Bhavanagar Industries Limited versus Bhavanagar Industries Limited. Then fourth one, what is that? Subsidiary to act as agents. It is like what happened in this case is, I think it is a case of Merchandise Transport Limited versus British Transport Commission. Something is there, right? Nothing given. Patella, okay. This is a case of that only. It is merchandise. Case is merchandise transport limited versus British Transportation Commission. As we have RTO, ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದೊಳಗೆ RTO ಐತಲ್ಲ, the same way it is a case of London. ಅಲ್ಲಿ British Transportation Commission ಐತೆ. Whenever we buy some vehicles, it has to be registered with RTO only by paying some taxes. That is what we do present every day. The same way, there was a transport limited called as Merchandise Transport Limited. As we have VRL bus here, the same way they have in that country Merchandise Transport Limited. What happened in this case is, because this Merchandise Transport Limited has already violated so much of traffic violations and so much of pollution is being done, so much of violations are there. But after some days, this we call it as MTL, Merchandise Transport Limited, bought some buses and they sent all those buses to the RTO. This is the British Transport Commission for the purpose of getting the registration. Then British Transportation Commission see all these things. See, you are already violated. You are not eligible to purchase any bus. I will not give you registration. Please get out. Then it has already purchased the bus. Then what should I do? Then this MTL did. They formed one subsidiary company. What is subsidiary? We will discuss it later. They formed one more company, and whatever the 10 buses are there, example 10 buses, they transferred all the 10 buses ownership to this subsidiary company. Then this subsidiary company went to British Transportation Commission with the same buses to get the registration. Then British Transportation Commission said, see, this chassis number already come, we rejected it. Then they said, we will not do registration for even British, this other subsidiary also. Then subsidiary went to the court. See, I am different, Merchandise Transport Limited different. These are my buses now, 10 buses. You have to give me the registration. If you reject MTL, it is not that I have already rejected. Then court said, okay, subsidiary, I agree with your thing. What is your business? Then it thought, okay, why did I come into existence? No, I have no business. I am incorporated only to get the purpose of this registration. That means it is an indirect way of doing this. As Jukilal Dinsamanaji patented this indirect way, here also they are doing it same thing. That is why they lifted this corporate bill between MTL and subsidiary and treated both companies same. Then they said, we will not give registration for these buses. Please get out. This is what happened. Whenever you form some subsidiaries, for what? For acting as agent. This subsidiary is acting as agent of this Merchandise Transport Limited, so that it will get the registration of buses. That is what they decided.
But why did PTC did give approval for registration for MTs?
Because they violated so much of traffic things or pollution is there. They crossed all those limits. or exactly everything is not written, or whatever the buses they bought, they are not suitable for their country. It might emit so much of pollution, or it might take so much of extra road. Something is there, I don't know. That is the case. What it has decided. Then, huh? ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ 1930 1940 ಕೇಸ್ ಅದು ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಫೈನ್, ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಫೈನ್ ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. ದೆನ್ ಫಿಫ್ತ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್? Common for defeat the law. See, there is something called as in every type of business there is something called as non-compete agreement or non-solicitation agreement. What is non-compete or non-solicitation? When I'm teaching here, I should not teach in some other academy. This is what we call it as non-compete. ನೀವು ಹೊರಗಡೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನನ್ನ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಗೆ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋಂಗೆ ನೀವೇನು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಕಂಪೀಟ್. ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಕಂಪೀಟ್ ವಿತ್ ಮೀ ಆನ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. Non-solicitation is like, see, whenever you're teaching, you are not doing, you can't do anything. But whenever you leave this academy, after teaching from this academy, you cannot take even a single employee from our academy to your academy if you are starting this. That is non-solicitation. ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು, ನನ್ನಿಂದ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ನಡೀತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ರಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ, ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಒನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ. ಯು ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಸಾಲಿಸಿಟ್, you cannot induce, you cannot tempt the people, employees, students to come to your academy. That is what non-solicitation agreement. There was a case called as that case is that given? Guilford Motors versus Harney. What happened is, he was the employee of Guilford Motors. Then they had this is the case. They had this non-solicitation agreement. What this Guilford Motors was doing is, you know that bike servicing part, monthly 3 months once 6 km road ಮೇಲೆ bike service ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, Guilford Motors was doing that activity. Later the person Harney left the company, Guilford Motors. Then they started their own business. Then whenever he is working with the Guilford Motors, he has some contacts. He started calling to the clients of the Guilford Motors. See, anyway you are going to give your bike or car for the servicing, they charge some 20,000. I know whatever they do because I only used to do that. I will do everything in 10,000. You don't go there, you directly come to me only. I'll only work and charge some less amount. Then this type of transaction should not happen, because of which there was a non-solicitation agreement between Harney versus Guilford Motors. ಈಗ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಮೊದಲು ಅಗ್ರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಇತ್ತು. Because of which what did this Harney done is, he established one company, Harney, for example AB Limited, then started calling on behalf of AB Limited, not as a Harney, because AB Limited was not the employee of the company, Harney was the employee. Now as per the law, Harney is different from the AB Limited because separate legal entity concept. Then this Guilford Motors went to the court. See, he is soliciting our clients. It is not good. We had this non-solicitation agreement. Then court saw, Harney explained, sir, that company AB Limited is separate legal entity, me also separate legal entity. You cannot treat me, both are one. Then that court asked, why did you establish company? Just for the purpose of that inducing the clients. That is why we treat that AB Limited and Harney as one person, and we lift the corporate will between them two, and you cannot call any clients of Guilford Motors, whether by AB Limited, whether by Harney. This is what the fifth case, the lifting of corporate will. 5 cases where the company can lift, court can lift the corporate will. First case is to determine the character of the company, whether it is an enemy company or friendly company. Case wise, Daimler company versus Daimler Limited versus Continental Tires and Rubbers Limited. Second, to protect the tax revenue, don't look at the material, look at me and tell me. It is the case of Jinsham and Petit versus Commissioner of Income Tax. Third one is to avoid the legal obligations. That is Bhavanagar Industries Limited versus New Bhavanagar Industries Limited. Fourth one, formation of subsidiary to act as agents. Then it is a case of British Transportation Commission versus Merchandise Transport Limited. Fifth one, company formed for the purpose of defeating the law or improper conduct. Guilford Motor versus Hornell. It is what the five cases where the corporate value will be lifted. Very very important topic in terms of this Companies Act. Understood corporate will theory? Corporate will means separate legal entity only. Lifting of corporate will means we are treating both as same, not separate. That is what lifting of corporate will. Is that okay? From tomorrow, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will start with the remaining part of the chapter. That is types of company, other things. You please read these things because I did not read all those things. Whatever I had discussed, this is only I have discussed. You please read it, underline it, and if you have any doubts, do ask in the next class. It is already 12:57. We will wind up now. So before winding up, I'll just recap. Company means a company as per section 2 bracket 20, which is incorporated under this act or any other previous company law. Features of the company or characteristics of the company are separate legal entity, limited liability, perpetual succession, common seal, artificial juridical person, can sue and be sued, having bank accounts, all those things can be done. Corporate will, members are separate from the company, lifting of corporate will. Okay, corporate will is decided in which case? Lifting of corporate will decided in five cases. Corporate will decided where? Salomon versus Salomon Limited. There we decided companies separate from members. Then we decided cases where corporate will be lifted. Five cases. Is that okay? Please revise everything because if you can't revise these things on a day-to-day basis, it is not like economics. You don't remember anything at the time of examination. Right? We will take a lunch break. We will again meet back Wednesday. Be all the best for examination, tomorrow's examination. Thank you. You can leave. Oh, attendance.